There are wars that begin with the clash of swords, and there are wars that begin with a whisper. Long before the kingdoms of men were built, an ancient darkness ruled the northern mountains. The Orc Empire spread across the frozen lands, burning cities and leaving nothing but ashes behind. It took generations of sacrifice before mankind finally forced them into exile. For 1,000 years, the world believed the orcs were gone forever. But legends have a dangerous habit. They never truly die. Far beyond the northern sea, hidden behind endless cliffs and black forests, a massive army was gathering in complete silence. Thousands of orc warriors stood shoulder to shoulder beneath blood-red banners, while gigantic war beasts were dragged toward enormous ships. At the center of the camp stood a towering figure, the new Orc King. Unlike ordinary orcs, he carried himself like a conqueror rather than a savage beast. His eyes burned with hatred. "The humans buried us in darkness," he declared. "They stole our lands, our kingdoms, our future." His voice echoed through the valley. "But tonight, we rise." The entire army roared loud enough to shake the mountains. Drums thundered. War horns screamed. The age of men was about to end. Meanwhile, hundreds of miles away, life remained peaceful along the northern wall. The soldiers laughed around campfires. Some repaired broken armor. Others sharpened their swords while joking about going home after another quiet winter. None of them realized this would be the last peaceful night of their lives. Their commander, General Varric, walked alone along the stone walls. He had survived more battles than any man alive. Yet something felt wrong. The forest had become too quiet. Even the wind refused to blow. Veteran soldiers knew silence before battle was never a good sign. Suddenly, a frightened horse burst through the trees. Its rider was missing. The animal was covered in blood. Everyone froze. Varric slowly walked toward it. The saddle had been slashed apart. The rider hadn't fallen. He had been taken. Then, something moved inside the forest.
Back in the present, Zorlok launches his plan once again. Marek accidentally walks into one of his deadly traps while investigating strange visions. She barely escapes through a magical portal, but several terrifying creatures follow her into the kingdom. After defeating the monsters, Marek learns the terrible truth. Zorlok has already collected 2 pieces of the legendary Dark Spore. If he succeeds in gathering all 4 pieces, he will become the master of death itself and raise an unstoppable undead army. Before Marek can recover, another disaster strikes. Her loyal friend Thane is captured by the cruel guildmaster Paragus Melaster. Melaster demands an enormous shipment of magical illustrium in exchange for Thane's life. Refusing to let their friend die, Marek, Dagon, and Tila accept the dangerous mission and leave at dawn. The courtroom fell silent. King Aldrin leaned forward, a faint smile crossing his face. "So, you choose the ancient law." Commander Kale stood tall despite the chains around his wrists. "I choose truth." A murmur spread through the hall. According to the oldest law of the kingdom, any man accused of treason could demand judgment by combat. If he won, he would walk free. If he lost, his name would be erased forever. The king slowly rose. "So be it. The gods shall judge." The great arena filled within the hour. Thousands gathered to witness what many believed would be an execution. Kale stepped into the circle wearing only battered armor and carrying a single longsword. The gates opposite him groaned open. A giant emerged, nearly 8 feet tall, wrapped in black iron armor. He carried a massive warhammer that looked too heavy for any ordinary man to lift. The crowd gasped. The Iron Champion. No warrior had ever defeated him. The king smiled. Begin. The giant charged first. His hammer crashed into the stone floor, sending cracks racing across the arena. Kale rolled away just in time. Again and again. Each strike shook the ground. The giant was stronger, but Kale was faster. He watched, waited, learned every movement. Then he noticed something. The champion always exposed his left side after a full swing. Kale smiled. Now. He slipped beneath the hammer, drove his sword into the gap beneath the giant's arm, and twisted. The champion roared. Blood spilled onto the arena floor. The crowd erupted. But the fight wasn't over. The giant grabbed Kale by the throat and...
As the battle reaches its breaking point, the heroes realize they are completely outmatched. Zorlok's overwhelming power leaves them with almost no chance of survival. One by one, Merrick's friends are pushed to their limits, and it becomes painfully clear that someone must make an impossible choice if the others are to escape. Without hesitation, Tila steps forward. Knowing there is no other way, she willingly sacrifices herself to protect Merrick and the rest of the team. Her courageous act creates the opening they desperately need to break free from Zorlok's grasp. Merrick watches helplessly as Tila gives everything for her friends. The loss shatters her emotionally. She blames herself for what happened, believing that if she had been stronger or made different choices, Tila might still be alive. Overcome with grief, Merrick struggles to accept that her closest friend is gone. Yet Tila's sacrifice also reminds the group that true heroes are willing to give everything for the people they love. While Merrick and the others fight for their lives, Thane remains trapped inside Paragus Molaster's prison. Day after day, he endures brutal torture, but he refuses to betray his friends or surrender his courage. Molaster, convinced that Merrick's mission has failed, decides that Thane has outlived his usefulness. He orders his execution, determined to make an example of him before anyone can attempt a rescue. Just as all hope seems lost, Merrick, Dagon, and their remaining companions storm the prison in a desperate rescue mission. A fierce battle erupts as swords clash, arrows fly, and magic lights up the battlefield. Molaster's guards fight with everything they have, but the heroes refuse to back down. Despite being exhausted and grieving Tila's death, they push forward with incredible determination. After an intense struggle, they finally defeat the guards, overpower Molaster's forces, and free Thane before the execution can take place. Fortunately, before Zorlok can complete his plan, the heroes uncover the location of the last remaining piece of the Darkspore. This discovery gives them one final chance to stop him. They understand that hiding is no longer an option. If they wait, Zorlok's power will become impossible to defeat. Instead of running from danger, they choose to face it head on, even if it means risking their own lives. United by friendship, loyalty, and the memory of those they have lost, Merrick and her companions swear to hunt Zorlok wherever he goes. They know the road ahead will be filled with deadly enemies, impossible battles, and heartbreaking sacrifices. Yet none of them hesitate. They are determined to finish what was started many years ago and prevent the Darkspore from plunging the world into eternal darkness. The movie concludes on an emotional and hopeful note. The surviving members of the legendary Red Thorns gather together once more and remember the glorious days when they fought side by side. Their old victory song echoes in the background, but this time its meaning has changed. It is no longer a song of celebration. It is a tribute to the friends they have lost, the sacrifices they have made, and the unbreakable bond that still unites them. As the heroes prepare for the next chapter of their journey, one thing becomes clear. Zorlok is still alive. The final battle has yet to begin, and the greatest challenge of their lives still lies ahead. Their story is far from over. In fact, this is only the beginning of an even greater adventure.